Heyo, what is up guys? I hope you're all having an awesome Wednesday. Yes, I said Wednesday. This is one of your bonus videos from when I ignored you during finals week. Today is actually my 25th birthday. I'm officially archaically old, and I'm pretty sure I need to go start looking at retirement communities. But yeah, so I thought might as well take this opportunity to do the Draw My Life video. I hope you enjoy. So exactly 25 years ago today, on April 9th, 1989, a very scrawny and very tan me, not the Chinese mischievous burrito that I just drew, came into this world. My parents clearly wanted to be anonymous in this picture because their heads were cut off on accident, but that is my mom, Loretta, and my dad, Jim. And I was born in Mount Prospect, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. Once they got me home, we found out that their dog, Coach, who is a Cocker Spaniel, was not a fan of me, and in fact he used to bark and pee all over my stuff. Not a fan. So not long after, he was sent to the farm, in quotes. That's what I was told, and it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I figured out it probably wasn't a farm. Sorry, Coach. A couple months after I was born, my parents started noticing a bump on the side of my head, and obviously were a little concerned. So they brought me into the doctor to get it checked out. From what I can remember, I thought that I had eaten my twin, and you know, survival of the fittest, I won. But either way, the tumor had to get chopped out, so I was knocked out. The surgeon did not use scissors, hopefully. Had it removed, and that was that. I now know that it was a teratoma, which is a tumor with like a bunch of different tissue types, like teeth and hair, which is gross. And one of the things that I remember my parents telling me about was, as we were leaving the hospital with my head all bandaged up, I could not stop smiling and giggling at all these people in the elevator, and I guess it was just the cutest thing in the world, which I'm not really surprised. When I was a kid, I had a very definitive scream, I've been told. It was high-pitched and hit notes that probably only dogs could hear. And one night we were out to a restaurant and my grandparents were there. They didn't know we were there until they heard me screaming. Yep. Not long after, we moved a whopping 3 miles from Mount Prospect to Arlington Heights. Our house was pretty sweet, right across the street from the park and on the other side of the block from where me and my sister would later go to school. That was my room. Like I said, not too long after we moved, there was a new addition to the family, my little baby sister Lauren, who came out with about 3 million rolls, and her cheeks were so big that she looked Chinese, which was funny to me. In keeping with new additions, we also then got a new dog. Her name was Kina, yellow lab, the best dog that ever has lived. Didn't make the best first impression because she cried and yelped the entire way home from the breeder, but we absolutely loved her. In general, I was a happy kid. I loved animals. I would bring home fish from this little creek by our house, birds, guinea pigs, anything I could get my hands on. I absolutely loved animals. I actually thought I was going to be a vet for a little bit. And my mom was not very pleased when I would bring home a new addition to the family. One day, as I was finishing up kindergarten, I was at my friend's house playing on the monkey bars, and I slipped and fell off. When I got home, I told my mom that I thought my arm was broken, but she just thought that I was being dramatic and told me to sleep it off and everything would be okay. Well, after about 3 hours of sleeping, I woke up in more pain than I was before, and they finally decided that maybe they should bring me to the hospital. After getting an x-ray of my arm, they found a break very high up, almost near my shoulder, which required a special cast, a half-body cast to be exact, which I rocked in my kindergarten graduation, and stopped me from going to the pool all summer, which made me not very happy, and I'm sure not very pleasant to be around. Injuries weren't that uncommon with me as a kid. One day, me and my sister were out cutting flowers for my mom, trying to do a nice little gesture, and somehow my sister's finger got in the way, and I might have, I don't know, cut a little bit of it off. Whoops. Don't worry, they sewed it back on and she has no weird deformities or anything like that. She did kick the doctor in the nuts though, because he didn't give her any painkillers. Whoops, brown marker died. Another thing that I like to do and found interesting with my sister was grabbing her arm and jumping over the back of the couch and dislocating her arm. Why I thought this was entertaining, I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, she was not a big fan of it, and after doing it a couple times, my parents finally brought me into the doctor when they took her in, and I got a little lecture about why I should not be doing that, which now I feel kind of bad about. When I was younger, I didn't really care too much for school. I was bored all the time and I didn't really care, and I did basically just enough to get by. I was rocking that B minus life, just good enough. Also, when I was younger, my dad got into a little accident playing this game called Whirly Ball, and his chest was hurting, and he went in to the doctor, and they found a tumor in his lung, and it ended up being cancer. Obviously, I was young, I didn't really understand, and I was super scared. And even with very low expectations of making it through the surgery, he made it through the surgery and has now made a complete recovery, which is just awesome. I love my dad. And I thought it was really cool that he only had like 1.5 lungs. Junior high, for most people, is full of nothing but awkwardness. I was chubby, I had braces, bad skin, all that. But when I started high school, I wanted to start over. So I lost a bunch of weight, got my braces off, tried to be one of the cool kids. I played soccer at my high school as well as tennis, which I ended up going to state for a couple years in a row. And it was fun. I loved it. I was enjoying myself. And for my 16th birthday, one of my presents was flying out to San Diego, California, to go visit some family and enjoy Southern California. I fell in love with the place and came home with every real estate magazine I could find, convinced that I could get my parents to move us there because it was so amazing. I think this is when my real estate addiction started, because after that I would find myself just daydreaming about these homes that I had seen in the magazine, and I found Realtor.com, and it's just been all downhill from there. A couple months later, my parents sat me and my sister down and informed us that we were going to be moving. My dad hadn't been a big fan of his job and said that he had found a new one, so obviously I thought we're moving to San Diego. So excited. Except that wasn't the case. We were in fact moving to Wisconsin. Green Bay, Wisconsin to be exact. He had found a job with a non-profit Catholic radio station that he really wanted, and so we as a family were going to support him. He moved up a couple months before we did, and when Mom and I drove up to look at houses, I still remember we pulled off the exit, and that was the first time I saw a live cow. We really wanted to turn around because it was not what we were used to, but we stuck it out, and it ended up being pretty great. I showed up at my new high school as a junior, thinking I was so cool, Chicago Dan, watch out. And this was the first time I'd ever really experienced culture shock. I remember people were mad because homecoming was on opening weekend or something, and that was all the boys were going to be gone because they were hunting. I was very confused. In high school was actually when I also had my first boyfriend. I was not out. It was just kind of a fluke, and for Valentine's Day I printed him off a little Valentine's Day note secretly, but when I came home from sneaking out, my parents were sitting at home with the note and asked me what it was, and I freaked out and I said nothing and pretended that it didn't exist, ran upstairs, called him and said, "Sorry, we're breaking up." Not too long after, we had graduation. At the end of high school, I was happy to have two really incredible friends who are still my best friends, Rachel and Hillary. I actually met both of them in the last couple months of high school, but we're still really, really close. But yeah, I continued my trek for college north to Minnesota. I went to the Twin Cities and started at a college called the University of St. Thomas, or UST. During orientation, I was a little confused because they told me that I could take way, way, way too many classes, and hard ones at that. And as a result, my first semester grades did not come back as well as I wanted them to. I still passed and everything, but it was not the 4.0 that I had expected and wanted, and that you needed for medical school. So my academic advisor told me I should think of a different career. I said no, and in fact just added an entrepreneurship degree to my chemistry. Also, freshman year of college, I met my third best friend. Her name is Katie, and funny enough, we went to the same high school, which was not very big at all, but we didn't really know each other. We were just in different circles. But within weeks of us actually meeting, we were glued together and have not left each other's side since. My junior year of college, I got to study abroad in Australia in a town called Surfer's Paradise. It was literally incredible. We had class 2 days a week. We lived right on the beach. I made a ton of awesome friends, and I got to spend my 21st birthday there. It just so happened to be on our spring break, and we were on a trip that allowed us to go snorkeling and scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef that exact day, as well as bungee jump at night in the forest into a pool. So freaking insane. Absolutely had the time of my life. That following December, my cousin Jen asked me if I wanted to go to Ethiopia with her to volunteer at an orphanage for kids with HIV. I absolutely fell in love with all of the kids, and it opened my eyes to so many different things. I did not get to graduate in 4 years because of my double major, so I got to sit and watch all of my friends graduate, which was fine. I was very happy for them. That next semester, I finally went on a date for the first time since junior year of high school. He was cookie cutter, what I always thought I wanted, and I was crazy about him, that I was still acting like a 12-year-old. And so things didn't end up working out. After that fell through, my friend reminded me that she always wanted to set me up, and he wasn't really my type, but I gave it a shot. We dated for a while, but it just wasn't the right person for me. But I am very thankful because during the time of this relationship, I finally came out to my parents. I got my first call being accepted to Ross University. Before I knew it, I was hopping on a plane and moving down to the middle of the Caribbean to a small island called Dominica. First day of classes left me dazed and confused. There's definitely a learning curve to this stuff. But over the last couple semesters, I figured out how to study and have really enjoyed the experience. During my time here, I also got into a long-distance relationship, which was great. I thought for sure that we were it. We had discussed forever, but like many things in life, it didn't pan out. After we broke up with a push from some of my Tumblr followers, I decided to start this YouTube channel, and have absolutely loved it. Although it was a little weird getting used to, it has really become one of my favorite parts of the week, talking to you guys and filming these videos. Now I just finished up my last semester of basic sciences for medical school, which is the first 2 years, and did the best I have done yet. I am really happy with how things have gone in my life thus far. The first 25 years have been great, and I know that I still have a lot ahead of me, but I could not be happier. So today I sit here really genuinely happy. It has been a great 25 years. I finally feel like myself, and I can't wait for the next 25. Thank you for watching.